Hello students, welcome back to your history class. So like I had told you all will need an outline map of the world. And for this particular chapter, we will need the outline map of Western Europe. You all have one in your textbooks, but it has markings in it, so I will arrange for an empty one. In your textbooks on page number, I'll just tell you the page number. Give me a minute. Which page? Yes, page number 133. You can see the Western Europe map. This is the map that can come for your examination. And these are the places that I have written for you on the, okay. So out of these, I can ask you for the towns, that is London, Paris, Saint Denis, Madrid, Bingen, Vienna, Rome. I'll ask you for countries, that is England, Normandy, Gaul, Burgundy, Spain, Portugal, German, all the German states, Austria, Italian states, Sardinia, and Corsica. And of course, the main seas and oceans: Atlantic Ocean, North Sea, Baltic Sea, Mediterranean Sea, and Adriatic Sea. So basically, I can ask you any of these, and map work is there for your final examination of this term, the term end examination. So please do the markings in your term end examination. You have to mark on a political map of the world like this. This is an example, okay? And you can see how it has been marked. Of course, your image has to be more clear. This was just taken over the internet. Your image has to be more clearer than this. And I want you all to practice this map and send it to me on my WhatsApp number so I know you all are doing it. Okay, before we move further, one more thing. We had done the map, the project work that I had told you all, and you all had done it, but I'm not very happy with it. I had told you all last time. You'll have to do it on colorful pages. It has to be like a proper project work that you'll submit, you'll have done in your standards 9th and 10th. So it has to be something like that. It has to be decorative. It has to have so many things in it besides data, besides written matter. So last time I think you all had done 10 pages. Now we all are going to extend that project to 20 pages. I will ask for a submission in the first week of November. Okay, today is 1st of October, so you have a full month to work on it. You will have to change, I think 1 or 2 of you all have done it in the notebook only. I don't want notebook. So either you take colored chart papers or something and write it on it, or you go down and buy a scrapbook and fill it up. It has to be 20 pages. And you have to have appropriate pictures, and if possible, hands down, if you can make a coin or something, you can actually make a coin or something and stick it. That would add to your project work. Remember, these project work carries 20 marks in your final examination also. Not only this examination, in your final examination, and this will matter even for your boards. So please put in more efforts. You all have chosen really good topics with good matter on it. I had seen the matter, and you all can of course have much more matter on the same topics. So please extend your projects to next 10 pages more and start writing them down. Okay, I want really good handwriting, good pages, good decorations, so many new ideas you all can use. Do all those and keep those projects ready. I will ask for the submission in the first week of November. All right, moving further, value-based questions. It's a 4 marks. There's a passage on page number 139. Okay, it's about the monasteries. I want you all to read it, and then we will discuss the question and answers. It talks about what permissions were there and what rules the monks had to follow, etc., etc. So question number 1 is, what were the Benedictine monasteries? So what were the Benedictine monasteries? So apart from church, some devout Christians had developed abbeys or monasteries. which were often established in places very far from human habitation. I'm sorry. In these monasteries, the monks lived and spent their lives. Question 2 is, who lived in the monasteries? Monks and nuns lived in the monasteries. They were separate monasteries for men and women. That is, there were separate monasteries for monks and nuns. Both of them did not marry. Why were the certain rules set for the monks? Certain rules were set for the monks so that they might lead a pious life and spend their time in prayers, studies, and manual labor like farming. How should the monasteries be laid out? The monasteries should be laid out in such a way that all necessities can be found within its bounds: water, mill, garden, and workshops. Give some rules which contain moral values. Most of the rules set for monks and nuns were based on human values. Some of them are: no monks should own private property so that they might become selfless and serve the community properly. Second, idleness is the enemy of the soul. So friars, that is monks, and sisters, that is nuns, should be occupied at certain times in manual labor and at fixed hours in sacred readings. That means they should never be idle. The last one, the monks should be humble and obedient. All these had moral values to them. So this is passage 1. Now talking of another passage on page number 147. This is about the stained glass windows. So question number 1 is, so if you've not finished reading, you can pause and complete your reading. Who decided to enlarge and amplify the noble church? Rich merchants decided to enlarge and amplify the noble church by their donations. Question 2. How were the large churches called cathedral made beautiful? The large churches called cathedrals were not only enlarged, but a large sum of money was also spent on painting the windows. Why were the windows painted? And stained glass was used in them for what? Windows were painted to attract the public in large number. Stained glass was used for windows so that during the day the sunlight would make them radiant for people inside the cathedral, and after sunset the light of the candle would make them visible to the people outside. Next question. What was done for the protection? For the protection, a master craftsman and goldsmiths were appointed. I think there's something wrong over here. Protection of the stained glass. So how was this work of art protected? To protect this work of art, a master craftsman and a goldsmith were appointed. So every time there was any problem, they both would fix it. How were the craftsman and goldsmith paid for? Both of them received their allowance or coins from the altar and flour from the common storehouse. So they were given flour to cook meals, and they were also given money, that is coins. Okay. So with this, we've ended the last chapter that is coming for this exam, the three orders. Now I will start with thorough revision. So please make sure to watch all videos. I have noticed a few children are not watching videos. And I know saying it in this video means they're anyways not watching. So who's going to watch it? They're not going to know it. I understand, but if you're watching this video, make sure to not skip a video now because I'm going to be doing thorough revision. We will be doing notes. We will be doing important points of that chapter. We're going to be covering everything in detail. I am not rushing with the portion and I'm not starting a new chapter with you all, which I can. So please use your energies wisely. Use this time that I'm giving you all to finish your projects and do your revisions with me. Okay, with this I end today's class. Children, stay home, stay safe, take care, keep learning. Thank you.